Hey dear everyone, my name is Santosh and welcome to my YouTube channels. So guys, today in this particular videos we'll discuss about the C++ programming language and what are the prerequisites and to learn the C++ and what are the requirement tools that are to be used during the C++ programming languages. Now let's start to um, see what are the requirements and prerequisites to be become a best C++ programmer. And so now let's move to the slides and let's discuss what are the things that we discuss about the C++ programming language, prerequisites and learning C++, and what are the requirements and other things as well. So C++, the basic requirements we discuss here. The basic requirements to be a best programmers, to learn the uh, about the C++ languages in the field of computer science and programming languages. So the first thing is we discuss about the basic computer knowledge. Before we start the C programming language, we prerequisites. It means what are the requirements, what we know earlier. So understand basic computer knowledge. Suppose um, how to use a computer, navigate the file systems, and how to install software. Suppose install software, how to install software and how to navigate the folder files and systems, how to use computers. So the first point is to know the basic computer knowledge. It means computer fundamentals, computers fundamentals. We must know computers fundamentals, computers fundamentals. uh, so the next thing is logical thinking and problem solving skills. We must know familiarity with the logic buildings. Basic problem solving approach is helpful since programming involves breaking down the problem into logical steps. It means we have a knowledge to logical thinkings and problem solvings. It means and if we do these things, then what will happen? And it means suppose we want to add two integers, two variables, two numbers. Then we are going to compare two numbers. Then what will be the next output? It means we know the logical thinkings we have the ideas. Suppose ideas, we have ideas. It means we have skills. We must know the skills of logical thinkings to problem solvings. Why we use these points? Because during the program writing, we must know the logical thinking. So what are the what are the logicals, how we can solve the problems in the programming languages. And the third one is understanding of basic mathematics. Mathematics is mandatory in any programming languages. So just like concept like arithmetic operations, algebra, and bits of logic, and are not. It means basic mathematics, basic, basic, basic math. We need basic math. Suppose plus arithmetic operations, plus minus, and division, modulus, plus operators. It means we must know the basics mathematic concept like operations like algebra and a bit of logic. It and or not and are the useful. It will be useful during the learning when we learn the C++ programming language. Not even it C++. If any language, if you are going to learn any language, that it must know it. You must know to know the basic mathematics, or mathematics in IT. Suppose statics you must know, and arithmetic arithmetic, plus minus, minus, divisions, modulus, and plus plus operators, minus minus operators, and logical operators, comparison operators like less, greater than, less than, equal to, equal to. It means the basic things you must know before starting the C programming or any programming languages. Now basically in this particular video discuss about the C++ programming language. So now you must know the basic algebra operations and arithmetic operations like plus minus, and a bit of logic we must know. Suppose and yeah, or not are the usefuls. It will be more useful in C++ programming language. So now the third one is finished now, and the fourth one is familiarity with the programming concept. It is the optional things, because just we are going to learn the C++ programming. We have already are, if you have already learned about the C languages, then it is very familiar or similar to the C language, because it is a superset of C programming language. It has some additional elements or concept, having the OOPS concept, object oriented programming. So it is very plus plus mentions that it has additional things, uh, and that was not defined or not included in C programming language. So now in C++ programming language, something is new, that is OOPS concept, very importance. And in every programming languages like Python, Java, and other programming language use the OOP, OOPS concept, object-oriented programming language concept, and uh, this is the optional. If you are worked with simpler other programming languages like Python or others, it is easier to know. So guys, these are the prerequisites for learning C languages. The first one, you must know the basic computer of knowledge, how to run the computer, how to save the files, and how to uh, it means install the softwares. Because when we start to learn the C language, some of the additional tools we must know to install in our PC, our machine. Um, just like GCC compilers, the translators we must know, understand, and uh, understand. So it is very important to understand that before starting to learn any programming languages, like today we are discussing C++. So to install just C GCC compilers. It means compilers we have to install in our PCs, and other text editors, IDEs, IDE. It means when IDEs means it is the software that in which we write our codes, and we execute the codes, and some of the tools and functionalities has been added in this IDE. If we do not have the IDE, we can also use a text editor like Notepad and other assembly VS Codes. This is also IDE, and these are the 4 points basically. Other points may also have, but this is the importance point: basic computer knowledge, logical thinkings we have, understanding basic mathematics, and familiarity with the programming concept. It is the optional, not mandatory. So now let's move. These are the prerequisites of learning C++. So now let's move to the second slide. That is the uh, requirements to start learning C programming language. It means to learn in every C programming language, what are the requirements? What are the requirements? What are the things that are required during learning any programming language? In this particular video, guys, we are focusing only C++. So some of the tools, softwares, and environments that we need to install in our systems, just like development environment, Development environment, guys. Development environment, guys, means it mention IDE, integrated development environment, where we wrote uh, we write our code. So C compilers, it means development environment or text editor. It is also called text editor, text editor, text editor, editors where you write our code. It's like a notepad, notepad. We can also write here our code and execute or compile. We write code, execute. We write our codes, compile our codes, and executes our C programs. And some of the I can say that some of the IDEs, just like a VS Code, Microsoft. It is freely available for Mac OS and Linux, and also the most we use um, for our Windows operating systems. Windows, it is available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. And also code blocks, cross-platform. Code blocks is also a IDE. Code block, code block, code block, code block, and Dev C++, C-line, VS Code, having the most importance extensions. uh, these are the first point indicates the development environments. It means uh, before starting requirements, what are the requirements to learn C++ programming, or where we write our program? The first thing is development environment. Integrated development environments, we have just like a VS Code. It means it is the place where we write our code. That is called development environment, where we write our code. The second one is C++ compilers. C++ compiler means our compilers, our code will be converted in our machine unstable language. The compiler converts our code. When you write, when you write your code, when you write your code, when you write your code in text editor or text editor, text editor, editor, or IDE, then our compiler will converts our code machine into machine readable or machine understandable format, that is called 0 and 1s. We have already known about it. We are already familiar with it. Just like a GCC compilers, GCC, GNU compiler collection, CLang, Microsoft C++ compilers with Visual Studio. When you download VS Code, then C++ compiler will be there. C++ compiler we have to install in our system, and that compiler will convert our written code in IDE. When we write our code in our IDE, just in a IDE, a text editor, and our compiler, it means translators, convert our code into machine code. It means this is the additional tools we requirement. So, and the other things is just like C++ tutorial resources. Some of the if you see the C++ references book, are where you can buy the book. This is the paid versions. This is the its book, or it is the resources is C reference or C++ websites. If you visit the its URLs, that is the paid versions. You can see C++ tutorials are something you can watch in even YouTube channels, and you can purchase it by the Coursera or free code camps or code academy. You can purchase go geeks for geeks. You can also purchase it C++ materials and tutorials resources. But don't worry, I will provide you the things which are required to learn the C++, and along with this video in descriptions and links and others, what are the things that would be most important and mandatory things I will provide you, not a vast uh, that is not understandable by anybody. And I will provide the things which is very easy to understand and write the code with examples, and with a note. You can download it with a Google Drive or GitHub accounts. I will provide in description links. You can download from there. Now let's move to the access to practice platforms. Access to our now, if we learned requirements, if we are learning C++ programmings, now you can practice. Without practice, it is not possible to learn any programming language, even C++ or other programming language. So when you start to learn, these are the these are these are the mm, these are the prerequisites prerequisites to learn C++, and these are the uh, requirements. What are the requirements? What tools and softwares are required to learn, to start learn to learn C++ programming language? Which IDE required, C++ compiler required, C++ tutorials. If we need, you can purchase from Coursera, Coursera, Code Academy, Udemy. You can purchase as per your requirement, what I will provide as per you need and sufficiency. And access to practice platforms. So when you learn, when you are in the during the learning time, when you are learning, starting to learn the C++ programming, access to practice platforms. Some of the platforms to practice, because if you don't practice you can't learn. So if we need we have a time, we have to manage the time to learn and practice the C++ programming language, or even any programming languages that some of the platforms that just like a lead code, lead code you can practice here. Code forces, coding a challenge, hacker rank, hacker hacker rank, hacker ranks. You can practice these the platforms, and you can access this platform and log in with the IDs, email IDs, and you can practice here. Because if you don't practice you can't learn. Practice makes a code man a perfect. When you practice, you will be perfect. When you not practice, it is very difficult to learn and understand. You can't learn from anywhere. Even if you get the source are freely sources, because uh, if you practice, then free source will also makes your foundations in programming strong. So guys, in today we have seen the prerequisites of learning C++, and what are the requirements to start C programming languages. And in the upcoming videos we will discuss the overviews of the C++, and what are the what are the chapters that we discuss in C++ programming languages. Now it is very uh, big announcements to C++ programmers that do completed C language and now jumped a dive into the C++ programming. So it is very important series, and so please read, see the videos, and write or make your note and practice every day. And I would like to request, please subscribe the channels and like the video and share to your friends, which makes your friend very that makes your friends to learn, and everybody wants can learn and know the things which I have provided freely in my YouTube channels. So guys, today we discuss the things, it is very important things we have discussed today. And in upcoming videos we'll discuss the other additional things which will be very important for C programming language, and those who are interested um, to learn C++, because C++ is very important in the any if you learn C++, and it makes your object oriented and programming very strong foundations. And to learn other if you learn other programming language, it makes more clear your programming foundations. And if you practice, you will definitely learn.